0823.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Man, I wish it was Friday, but happy Thursday, listeners. Spoony Radio listener, Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro, here with special guest in-house, Derry O'Connor, host of Try This Dish Radio. Oh, well, we got to meet you all. See,
I'm already fired.
No. So here's the thing. I shouldn't really promote somebody who's competing with us, but good show. I'm teasing. Really great show. And you've been working on Try This Dish Radio for how long now?
About 3 years.
Wow.
About 2015.
So here's the thing. She brought food for me to try, for us to try today. And, actually one of my favorite food
like
cultures.
Japanese. Yeah.
Well, I love Thai. I love Vietnamese, all of Southeast Asia. We'll leave Japan out of it because obviously that's what I do. But I love Southeast Asian food. It doesn't matter if it's from, look at Ron being the professional he is, centering the camera and stuff. Yeah. He got your skinny side, and
good. Thank you.
I don't have a handsome side, so he's going to pretend.
Oh, come on now.
So, Southeast Asian food. I mean, obviously there's pho, which hopefully we'll get a chance to eat later. Spring rolls.
Spring roll.
Okay. Are those the hot or cold?
I believe they're the cold spring roll.
Okay, so spring roll, and then you have summer rolls, which are the hot ones, right? Those are the ones with that you wrap in lettuce, so on and so forth. Thank you.
I get you a mixed pho.
Okay, well, we'll try that later. So, you made a long drive today. I mean,
I did.
How did you get stuck in the middle of nowhere? Oh, I won't say the nowhere. How did you end up where you are doing a podcast based on food? Because where are you located again?
I live in the middle of nowhere in Texas.
Okay, I wasn't going to say that. Okay,
it's in San Saba County.
All right, so is that a really big food town?
No,
area?
Not at all.
Okay, a lot of cattle.
Cattle and cats.
Cattle and cats. Well, I don't do cats. I can slaughter. I can butcher, fabricate, whatever you want from a beef perspective. But how, may I ask, did you end up there? The short version and not the an uncomplicated version.
Well, I left a career in criminal justice. Okay.
Wait.
That's a long story, but
did you go right to food, right to radio? Which direction did you go after criminal justice?
I started a food blog.
Okay.
And I actually was up in the Fort Worth area the summer of 2015 being a nanny for my brother.
For your brother, okay.
Yeah, because I was trying to decide which way I was going to go. I wasn't going to go back into that field.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I was up here, Sean Young, who is the executive producer and owner of Try This Dish Radio, he found my blog on Twitter, of all places.
Good place to find things.
Yeah. And so
occasion. Used to be.
I design recipes, and I'm a personal chef, too, as well. I've helped open a couple of restaurants in the 2000s. That always sounds weird. In San Antonio, Texas. And so he had me on as a guest in July of 2015. And I was up here, so I said, hey, if you want any help, I'll come to the studio. And he works at another studio. And so I started going in every week and doing shows. And one day he's like, all right, this is the new co-host. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And then I moved back to San Antonio and back to Port Aransas. I lived on the ocean in Port Aransas.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
And I helped run a place down there called Port A Beach Lodge, one of my favorite places in the world. And in the meantime, he made me producer. And I got kind of involved with the World Food Championships a little bit, but more in 2016. And so I became Destination Dairy. All right, so wherever I went, I called in for the show and just reported. Sometimes I would interview chefs or restaurants, so that's how it all got started. And now here we are. It's what year is it? 2019.
19 already.
2019.
So how long? Yeah. How long has this been?
Since 2015. We started in July. He started the actual show in June of 2015. I was interviewed in July as a blogger, and then 2 months later, I'm doing everything. So not everything, but you know, like the face of it, and bringing in guests and
the action. So I know he kind of does the production, post-production, editing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So criminal justice to food blogger to nanny to food podcast radio host.
It's been fun. I mean, I've always been I've always loved to cook. Started learning to cook when I started having children. And I worked in the industry since 15, all the way through college and high school. Always a server, a bartender, or whatever. And then I helped open a couple of restaurants in San Antonio in the early 2000s and kind of learned.
Anything you really liked or you want to give a shout out to?
Neither one of them are there any longer.
Okay, well.
And so I thought, if I can't own this restaurant after 2 experiences, and I always look at everything as a learning experience, then I'm, not going to do that kind of management, so to speak. So understood. So I had 100 hours in college, and so at the young age of 46, I have 4 sons. They were getting older, and I moved with my mom and said I want to finish my degree. So I just did criminal justice because it was like the quickest piece of paper I could get. Well, 2.5 years later, I was like, this ain't happening. No, I want to do my passion, which is anything in the food industry. So it just so happened that Sean and I synchronistically met up. I got into broadcasting and I love it. And I'm like, hey, I'm pretty darn good at this stuff. And I have a lot of connections now all over the planet, really, that are either chefs or in the industry or.
Awesome. Throw some connections this way, would you?
Well,
I know. Depends on how well today goes. I know if I'm nice or not, or no, come on. Here's the thing. People are like, well, what questions are you going to ask? I'm like, well, there are no trick questions. They're kind of big, mushy softballs, but they're like great. They're moon sized. Right. But I try to take the interview from a different perspective because as an industry professional, there's a couple of things I want to share. A look through the window that most people don't get to look through, which is an insight into our world. Mm-hmm. Because let's face it, the food service world is unlike any other business. It's full of interesting personalities, right? Oh, yeah. Addictive behavior. It's very transient. People that are committed beyond, description. And it's fun. It's addictive, though. It really is. And it's addictive in a way that is not necessarily healthy. Because it's not. The grind itself is very difficult. It's physically taxing, it's emotionally draining, and mentally it's mind blowing. It really is. It's very difficult because the service industry, service is one thing. Hospitality is something different. Yeah. I've talked about that on my show. And if you really care to provide an experience that is truly exceptional, it's exhausting in a good way. I mean, it's very rewarding, but at the same time, more people I think burn out in this industry than any other industry. So, there's no doubt. Yeah, I mean, we have the second highest rate of alcoholism, I think, or maybe the highest rate of alcoholism. I need to drink. As far as chefs, well, there's wine right behind you. Oh yeah, wine. Yeah, I'm drinking some Liquid Courage a little diesel in my hair. And they have, I think, the second highest rate of drug abuse, highest rate of alcoholism, and the highest rate of divorce in the chef world. It's no wonder that we have both transitioned away from that. I mean, yours was kind of so that's interesting. I made it a career choice. For you, it was transitional as far as the actual working in the industry, right? It was a way to, make some money during college, pay your bills, have some fun because it's a fun industry for the most part. It makes the rest of your life very difficult because you're tired or hungover or unattentive or not present. Right. But it's a really fun industry. Mm-hmm. It is. And I'm not surprised. It's interesting how many people get sucked into this forever and how few people get away from it, at least for an extended period of time. I like this aspect of it much better. I mean, if I wanted to open a restaurant, I could, but, just not wanting to do it anymore because I like to actually promote other people's businesses. And do you? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, my new business, the Foodie Group, is all about bringing together the arms of people in the food industry, no matter what your business is. If you have a food arm, I want to build a network of people that work together in the industry because I like to help other people with what they've got going on. That's kind of one of my gifts. So like I'm really good at promoting.
helping, bringing together, kind of like I was kind of thinking about it at 3 or 4 in the morning, like I do most mornings. Have my $1 million ideas.
Yes.
And
do you keep a notebook by the on the bedstand?
I have this. I have this one, and I use my phone. And sometimes I just roll over and talk in the phone if I had a dream or something, because I have a lot of stuff like that goes on. So yeah, I'm real creative in the middle of the night. Sometimes I'm like, oh, please, can I just shut the brain down? But then I'll wake up and I'll go, wait a minute, that was a great idea. And then they don't always pan out, but I kind of want to be kind of like the Angie's List. All right. This is what I was thinking of the other night for the food industry. Like Foodie Group is going to be, I'll have a section for social media management. I'll have an arm for, well, let me grab my notes. Otherwise, I'll probably say something wrong.
No. So this is interesting because, I've worked on a couple businesses that were trying to become, so to say, the Angie's List of a particular. So I work with a technology company. I'm a member and a partner of a technology company in the medical marijuana space.
Yes.
And what they're trying to become is the Angie's List for people that are specialists and or participants, licensed participants in that area and they're networking. That they're a networking resource. We are, and I understand what you're trying to do because Michael, what was Michael's last name? There was a gentleman here I worked with years ago out of Dallas actually who did chefs. I'll find it. I'll find the name of the website. We were trying to do the same thing. It was basically a portal to for ordering. I mean, all the services that a restaurant needed, but also collaboration within the industry as well. It was very interesting.
Yeah, because I have lots of different. I know you can't have too many things going on, so I'm truly trying to work.
Really, you can't have too many things going on because I'll tell you, I probably have too many things going on.
There's Randy.
There's Randy. Hey, Randy, happy birthday, brother.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I didn't, and I got a little reminder today. Thanks, Mary, for the reminder. I forgot to post it. Thank you very much. Randy, can't wait till next Monday's show.
Yeah, I haven't watched your show yet, but I've had Randy on Try This Dish Radio at least once, maybe twice in the last few years.
Yeah, I made him sit in here a couple of days, all day long for 2 hours. He's like, oh, dude, come on, I want my own show. Okay, you can have your own show, but sit in one more time.
That's right. Use and abuse. There you go.
He's a good guy. So, I mean, how long has this project been underway to try and develop this?
I've just started with this concept probably about 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm working on I'm having someone help me with my website and my logos. My nephew is a graphic designer, so we're working on getting the Foodie Group logo down.
Okay.
And I'm kind of reworking Try This Dish logo too, because it's kind of outdated. So yeah, so I'm just I'm just trying to, that's one thing I wanted to talk with you about while I was here, as a matter of fact. So,
so I'm a restaurant and business consultant. Yeah. And if you're a guest, at least while you're in studio, it's free. No, but I do a lot of
bring bourbon.
No, hey, there you go. I work for Basil Hayden, the only man I'll ever let in my bed, right there.
I love it.
Well, I'm in the bed. So, how long did it take you to develop the concept, and how far along is your roadmap? I mean, do you have it outlined? Is it just a mental concept, and
I'm real bad about putting that stinking cart before the proverbial horse.
Oh yeah, I'm the proprietor of Half Baked Ideas, in which I invest.
So then I go, oh, I got a web page. Oh, I got a web page. Oh, I ain't got no web page, but I got the domain.
I own the domain. I have the idea, but it's all in Latin. The placeholders they put are all in Latin on web pages. I got the outline. I need somebody to help me write the copy, but I'm not sure what I want to say.
That's me, and sometimes I need to learn to cool my jets and kind of get it all together. But I don't know. To me, it was like I was just ready for a change, and because I want to get into consulting, like social media management,
and I did see
traveling for people and doing foodie deals. Like if you need someone to go somewhere and be your face somewhere, I have the ability to do that. I have a passport. All my children are grown.
I have a passport.
Let's go.
No. Wait. One or the other.
Okay, one of us go.
No, I'm just joking.
I have the flexibility that most people don't have. I mean, I have the ability to just go wherever I want. I live with my mother, and she travels a lot with me. She loves, say hi, Mom. She's my biggest fan. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to follow this dream.
Oh,
so
that's sweet.
I love you, Mom. And
what's her name?
Barbara.
Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. I wouldn't have a guest
fantastic.
today without your support. So
I took her to England last year. I've been to England 4 times in the last few years, and Ireland
Awesome.
once, and interviewed some of the barbecue teams in 2016 that were coming over for the WFC.
can I tell you what was really cool is who won the barbecue championship last year?
Oh,
Team out of Germany.
yes, I know.
Those guys are badass.
I was there. They're so cool.
They did lamb. They did lamb.
I know.
Barbecued lamb. Holy
I know.
crap! I mean, I know.
How do you do it?
As
I
an,
mean,
as an even
doesn't
playing
make
field,
sense.
you should all have the same cut of meat. But that aside, and that's just me being a jerk. And Mike McLeod, I love you, dude.
I love you, Mike.
WFC rocks. I cannot wait.
I got some WFC news to share too.
We've got some possible collaboration coming at the end of the year when they're back in Dallas. I know Final Table is kind of a closed event, not closed, but their media coverage is restricted to a. We won't talk about that. But hey, God bless him. He's doing a good job of that, and that promoting that production company is doing a great job of promoting Final Table. I hope that Netflix doesn't change them, make them change the name because of the show that Netflix has.
Oh, which one?
Final Table.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah. Anyway, Mike, I'm rooting for you. I'll fight for you. Need some legal help? Call an attorney, but I'll say yes.
Yeah, and the Final Table's in May in New Orleans.
Yes.
And it's a little different this year because last year they began to bookend the Final Table, which means they separated it from the main event.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to actually cook cuisine from the area. Now, I believe he told me they have to do 3 different dishes. I'm probably getting it wrong, Mike. I'm like, I don't have
I think
a
you're
cheat
right.
sheets
It's
out.
regional, though. It's regional. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's kind of neat that they're doing that. And I know, pretty sure it's going to be aired on a food show, or they haven't really released all of that.
I don't know all the details of that yet, but as soon as we have them, we'll let you know. Because look, Mike McLeod, this is what, year 7 or 8, I think, and he's done a great job of growing this organization from the ground up. There are thousands of competitions worldwide which grow into a national showcase, which is it's not the Final Table, but that's the event which we had in November, December down in Orange
Beach,
right in Mississippi on the Gulf Shores.
In Orange Beach, Alabama.
I'm sorry. In
Alabama.
Gulf Shores, Gulf Shores area.
Yeah,
and
close, very close.
It was a fantastic event. I know Mark Conway was down there with the KA, and
I got to meet him, and I met Andy Imhoff. And
yes, Andy, I love Andy. He's such a great guy.
He's been a big help.
What a gracious. He's been very helpful with us and helping edit shows, and he's got a great podcast, great show here called Pardon My Fork.
Absolutely
he's coming up with a second one that's all beverage related too, and that's going to be pretty awesome. I can't wait. So.
Well, another cool thing about the Final Table too, as well, which Mike McLeod gave me this information, is that the winner, their final challenge, is going to go on Antoine's menu, and they haven't changed their menu in 100 years.
No, they have not.
So that's kind of neat.
If you've never heard of Antoine's, look up Antoine. So if you don't know Antoine, isn't that didn't they create the Oysters Rockefeller, Antoine's? Isn't that not?
I'm not a classically trained chef.
Well, I pretend to be, but I just kind of wing it. So,
and you're going to like this other new announcement. They're going to have a CBD hemp infusion at the main event.
Really?
I love that.
So we just had, I don't know if you listened to the show prior to this. Well, prior to Mark was on, Mark Conway with Family Meal was on right before this. But prior to that, we had a hemp expert sitting in that chair right there. And the host, Dr. Kenneth Brown, and Eric Rieger, they co-host the Gut Check Project. And it was a pretty phenomenal explanation of where hemp is,
right?
The farm bill that just passed, the law that just went into effect in Texas, making it all legal. But there's still a lot of so the FDA has now said that as an additive to food, it's not acceptable. Although you can take it as a straight supplement, or you can buy it as a supplement. You can, but people are just doing it anyway.
They don't want anybody to have to be healthy without taking drugs. I'm sorry, but some of them.
Yes, and so
it's a testy subject.
I work with a company that's affiliated and owned by the first publicly traded medical marijuana company. It's called MJ, Medical Marijuana Inc.
Okay.
And Dr. Stuart Titus is the CEO and president of that company, and they have another network of companies. And it's interesting that the FDA says, and I know I don't get too deep into this, but the FDA says there's no medical properties to hemp or marijuana. And even though there are prescription, medically prescribed marijuana in other states, I don't. That's aside. But in the hemp space, which I love because it's non-psychotropic, it doesn't affect your cognitive reasoning, your ability. It can reduce stress and make you feel more relaxed so that you can go to sleep. Which I take CBDs every night. I'll tell you what, I've slept more in the last 2 nights than I've slept in the last 2 weeks.
I need some of that.
7 hours the night before straight, I didn't move. I fell asleep with my laptop open and didn't move until I woke up. I remember moving my laptop to the side. And then the next last night I slept over 6 hours straight, not moving.
Well, I don't even remember the
drooling
last
on the pillow.
That. I drool, but yeah,
it's changed my life. But it does not. There's no after effect. There's no
there's no high.
Feeling.
There's no THC in it, people.
And look, your body makes THCA
naturally,
but THC has to oxidize, right? It has to be heated and then and whatever. That aside, so there's no medical properties to this. Then why have they issued medical research patents to 2 separate companies to develop standardized synthetic CBD for the treatment of certain ailments? And I'm not getting too deep. I'm not trying to get political.
Yeah.
It's just odd that that's the case.
I think it's just in being in criminal justice for sure. I mean, I dealt with a lot. Oh yeah, there's a lot of money involved. Not in my pocket, but I really like to help. I really liked that job in one sense that I got to help people because I'm a helper. But but my thoughts about marijuana and CBD were way different back then than they are now, because there are so many, we can make things with hemp, like what you would make with rope and
cloth and so on and so forth. And it's been around forever. Look, this is one of the oldest cultivated crops. I don't want to get into the politics. I thought it was interesting that they can issue a medical research patent for something they deemed has no medical properties. And all right. Hey, if you want to learn more about it, go watch the Gut Check Project, host a gastroenterologist, a very, very, very amazing and very pleasant man to be around. Kenneth Brown, Eric Rieger, who is, I think he's his anesthesiologist, and his partner, business partner. Yeah. Just phenomenal people. And Joy, I forgot Joy's last name. She's an attorney who's very engaged in the policy, direction policies going in the hemp industry. So, and
one more thing about CBD before we get off the subject is that there are a lot of products out there that are not good. They're not effective.
Tons.
Okay, so people be careful. My mom got trapped in this one where she ordered it and then they
drop ship
and then it took her months. I guess she probably lost about $200 to $300 before she had to go to the bank. So don't do that, people. Go to someone that you know that has used the product, or go to a good source is all I'm going to say on that. There's a lot of, here's some coffee water, but this is CBD. Yeah, go ahead and take that.
They've tested a lot of products out there, and like 60% don't have any CBD in them. So anyway, look, do your own research. There is Dr. Brown has a great product. If you want to know more, you can listen to the show and check it out. Dr. Kenneth Brown. It is KBMD, I think something like that. Anyway, KBMA. Look up Kenneth Brown Health CBD.
I got 100 acres to grow out there at my place. So
that's something else. So
that's another whole story.
No. I mean, I've been involved in the CBD / medical marijuana industry for a long time, and I love the hemp industry. It's very it's very useful. We used to pay our taxes in hemp. We talked about that on the show earlier, and it used to be in our diets in many ways. It was in tinctures. It was at the apothecaries until 1937, and look. George Washington grew hemp. We used to feed our cattle with hemp, whether they were hogs or sheep, or we would feed the leaves, which really have they have nothing in them that's they don't have they don't have THC in them. They have some CBD, but little
psychotropic stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Back to food.
Food.
We have about 90 seconds till the break.
Okay.
Do you when we come back, let's talk about. Okay, we know how you transitioned into this, how you got there. Do you have a primary focus that you look for? I mean, that you try to base the show on?
Well, now that's changing. So this is Sean Young is the executive producer and the owner creator of Try This Dish Radio, and he promoted me to the main host.
Gotcha.
Right. So just about 10 days ago. And
Congratulations.
I thank you. I'm excited about it. He loves to do the technical stuff, and I like to do the people stuff. And we can talk about it in the next segment, where I'm changing up the whole format of the show. So we used to just kind of sit and talk. We had a lot of food sport chefs on.
Chat like I do.
We didn't really have a format, and I tried to, but Sean,
So what's the new format? Well, we're at 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you're just joining us, guest Derry O'Connor of Try This Dish Radio.
I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
Try This Dish
so,
Radio.
So hey, I don't know what's going on. I've invited about 200 people so far. I have hardly anybody watching. What's the deal, folks? Watch.
I don't Facebook.
They're probably all watching on yours. But hey, like, share, watch the show. It's going to be we'll get away from the Hampton Talk and talk more about food radio and the future, what we see coming.
There you go.
And a little consulting on how to get your plan up and action and running.
Yes, thank you.
All right, going to break. Be back in 2.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter at Food Biz Pro.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called RiduZone, RIDUZone.com, RIDUZone.com. It's Brad's worked. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to RiduZone.com and try today. You're going to love it. RiduZone.com. Remember that, RIDUZone.com.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's DIA Thrive.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hey, welcome back, folks. Chef Patrick Mosher here, the Food Biz Pro with Derry O'Connor.
Hi.
Of Try This Dish Radio.
Hello.
We were trying to sneak in a quick bite in the break there. Starving to death, or trying not to starve to death.
The banana wore off.
Banana.
Yeah.
I had an apple and a banana for breakfast. Anyway, if you're just joining us, we're talking about your transition from attorney, or well, criminal justice to
food
to radio, and for some reason there it goes. My left speaker's not working. There we go. All right. And now the show is transitioning a bit, right? You used to just kind of sit and chat,
right?
Much like we do. And what's your new format going to be?
Well, basically, what I've always wanted to do, and kind of Sean too, but we just really never could hammer it out, is actually to teach cooking. All right. And share actual recipes. So the new format is going to be, if you're a guest on our show, doesn't matter if you're a chef or a food product or a restaurateur or whatever, we're going to talk about you in the first segment and just how you got into it and things like that, and then move into a cooking technique. So let's say somebody barbecues, right? Let's talk about barbecue. Then they're right, Randy. Okay, Randy, how do you do the perfect burger? Or how do you do the perfect brisket? So we'll talk about techniques that will improve your barbecue, right?
All right. Did you just say burger and barbecue together?
I know. I'm sorry.
Because
that was bad.
I'm from the Northeast, right? So when we say barbecue, we mean grill out. We're gonna grill some chicken. We're gonna have a couple dogs and burgers on the grill.
Burger, yeah.
So
okay,
that's a barbecue. Well, no, but you're right. No, barbecue down here is a whole different thing.
Yes, it is.
In the South, it's in the South. In the South, it's to smoke something on the pit.
Yes.
And then serve it with or without sauce. So, yes, it's a whole different ballgame down here. Completely different meaning. But yeah, so you get these experts in, and they teach a technique,
It might be a home cook because I think I'm not an expert on anything, but I can tell you.
But a lot of home cooks are expert at what they do.
So basically, if you come on the show, you will share, maybe you're a baker and you have a really good, there's a lot of tips for baking.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about either a kitchen tip or a cooking tip within the show. And then in the last segment, then I want to go into and actually share a recipe. Try this dish radio. Well, let's dish out some actual recipes. So it might be a recipe that you like to make, that you make really well. Or it might be your grandmama's recipe. It'll just be at some point in the show. So it's going to be cooking instruction, because you would think, well, you can't do that. No, everybody listens to audio now. They're not watching stuff. You can't.
They want to go anywhere, like a take anywhere platform, basically.
Right. So now, not saying that occasionally we might not have on a brand that, but almost everybody has a recipe that wouldn't mind sharing.
No, absolutely. I have a million.
Yeah. Or cooking ideas, like you were talking yesterday about the gravy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've made the lumpy gravy before, but I never heard it explained. Now, I always knew cold and hot don't mix well and whatnot. And
Especially when there's a starch involved, right?
Yeah, but I never realized about the tempering of the liquid and bringing it together. And I've cooked for a long time. Or just the chemical reason why it happens.
Well, I don't know the exact chemical reason, but yeah. So basically, you get
physical.
you get the big globules of starch. It's like taking an egg and putting it in egg drop soup, just dropping the whole egg in versus scrambling it and stirring it in, like stirring the soup while you do it.
Yeah.
So those things, demystifying the tips and tricks, and they're not tips and tricks, demystifying the techniques that professional chefs use so that the home cook or the want-to-be home cook, whether it's for you, your family, yourself, your friends, so that you can at least try. There's no reason that someone can't pick up a cookbook and read it, other than they don't understand the terms. And then once you understand mise en place, to put in place. But what does that mean? But put in place, what does that mean? Right? So mise en place, if you look it up in French, means to put in place. All right. But what it really means is an organized, systematic approach to laying out your ingredients so that they are easy to reach during the à la minute, which is the just in time, or to cook to order,
to be
finishing
ready to
of
go.
A product. Yeah.
Right.
So mise en place, to put in place, it doesn't really mean that. It means, okay, how do you be efficient by putting things in a specific order and grouping products by dish or by product type, so that when you get ready to cook, you're efficient, fast, and consistent. That's what it means.
I was actually thinking of that for another tagline for a foodie group.
Ooh,
I thought that was one of the 3 o'clock in the morning last night things.
Maybe I could do a second show called Mise en Place, and I could do we could do it could be a tips and tricks thing kind of.
So when you're listening, you're going to get, like, when someone tunes in to Try This Dish Radio, I want them to know they're going to get some information and not just hear a bunch of pack. I mean, there's nothing wrong with patting people's backs, and chefs work their butts off, right? So
yes, we do.
But it's
so to speak.
I want it to be something that can help the normal everyday person that maybe is afraid to cook, right? Or maybe they don't know how to make a white sauce, whatever that's called.
Like a beurre blanc?
A beurre blanc.
Or a bechamel?
A bechamel.
Well, bechamel, basically, it's a milk sauce thickened with flour.
Just basic things like basic things like that. But maybe even
Raux. What's a Raux? A Raux. Then when them rooks. A rooks. A roux.
A rouge.
A rouge. What's a rouge?
I don't know. It's funny.
I love it. Do you know why? All right, let me start back. I haven't explained to very many people how I got to this role. Very few. I've talked.
You were a chef.
I'm still a chef. I still actively work. I mostly consult, and I love the opening process because I think that when you are, especially if you're opening your first venue, I give people an advantage that they don't normally have, which is I can bring the understanding and the systems that chains or regionally successful restaurant groups have. Plus 30 plus years of experience in the industry, I can give you that, create those systems for you, and just all I need to do is teach you how to use them. You don't need that innate knowledge to succeed at that level. So what I do is I increase A, your profit margin, and B, in theory, if you actually apply everything that I teach, or even 80%, I give you better chances of survival over the first 2 years, which are the hardest. Right?
Yes.
Because most people don't plan. They don't have the.
They don't have enough money.
They don't. Oh, really?
Really?
Underfunded? Underfunding
Yeah.
is an issue in this industry?
Like one of my owners was one of the restaurants that I helped run. And I love, well, no, one of the restaurant people, I didn't work very well with them. But it was like when they're having to come in and take money because I can't pay their payroll already like in 6 months. They're like
Sometimes
red
60
flags.
days,
Yeah.
sometimes the first month because
Yeah.
sales are not, or you open like 3 months late.
Yeah.
So there's been no cash flow for 90 days, and you're like, oh, the contingency fund we had is gone.
Or they push the grand opening to a week before, so you don't even get to cook every dish on your menu. And then they do the soft opening, and nobody knows what they're doing. Yeah, there you go.
Soft opening? There is no such.
Oh,
Can I
no.
tell you what? I don't care if
There's no soft opening.
There's rarely does a soft opening end up being a soft opening.
I know.
That
was great. That was cray-cray.
The hardest night of my career, Fred's Hickory Inn reopening had burned down in Bentonville, Arkansas. It was the oldest fine dining restaurant in the area. They do steaks, smoked meats, and some really classic Italian dishes. And they started before I was born, 1966 or 5, somewhere in there. But the restaurant was actually built in 1968. And it burnt down. They hired me to help reopen because they had almost doubled the seating capacity, reduced the size of the kitchen and cold storage, and the flow wasn't worse. It was better, but the POS systems were not. The waiter service stations were not strategically placed, and it just wasn't. It was functional, but it needed some work, and so they hired me to come in. And great ownership, fantastic people. When we did our soft opening, I'm just inviting people to watch here, and it's funny because I'm getting very little reaction today. So hey. Listen up and watch, damn it.
Who's out there?
Because you know my new tagline is "Listen or Starve," right?
I know. I love that the
Isn't
other
that
day.
good?
I loved it.
Yeah, I think I need to do a show called "Listen or Starve."
Listen or starve.
Yeah, I mean, because anyway, back to the story.
I just shared it because I don't know that sometimes I think when you invite people, you were telling me that you had an issue with inviting people, and then it wasn't even going through, and
Okay.
So
I don't know if the privacy settings on my personal page got changed. I can't share a live feed to my Facebook page anymore unless I do a watch party, which is silly. But then
that is interesting.
It doesn't invite anyone unless I individually invite them.
That's strange. That makes zero sense. But I think that
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Facebook.
Well, look, we love you, but we hate you.
We love you.
No, I like Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, we love you too. Long time. This is really good, by the way.
Good. We got that from. Can we get a shout out to? I guess I think it was Milan.
Milan up in Belknap, right? Mm-hmm.
Milan.
Good, yeah, they have. Is that the one that's a Thai mix of Thai and Vietnamese?
I believe so. Vietnamese. Oh, there's a lot
there.
There was lots of yelling going on in there.
There are like 25 or 30 of those in that area, and
a lot. There's a lot.
Really good stuff. Anyway, so
I'll have to check out your. I do social media management. I can probably help you with that, Patrick.
Woo! Free, right? I'm teasing.
Everybody wants free. I know.
Yeah. Well, it's been a 14-month project, and we were all yet to get a paycheck.
I know.
And I'm not complaining, to be honest with you. Let's go back to the story. The other story. Look, it was just a nightmare. The opening night.
Oh.
Instead of everybody coming in at the time
crazy.
that they were slotted, which we had 300 one night, 300 the next, which was not a big deal for that restaurant. These 350 people ended up being almost 400 people. All came in. It started at 5. Everybody had their reservation, but they all come in at 7:30.
Oh.
We basically sat the entire restaurant plus people waiting. At one time, the POS system goes down.
Oh no.
We were going with handwritten tickets, but what we did is I'm telling you what.
Handwritten tickets.
What we did is we just said, look, I said cook 20 medium, 20 rare. We did a lot of, it was a slightly limited menu, but I said, all right, 20 medium, 20 rare, 20 ultra, 20 blue, right? And then keep the medium, do a couple medium well, and then set those aside, let them go well, and then we'll just plate as it goes. We just cooked everything we had. We pre-cooked a bunch of shrimp skewers, and as they handed us the tickets, we just plated it because there's no way to consolidate those orders and get an all-day call for how many steaks you need at this temp. I said, just cook it all. Cook it all. They get what they get. We love them. I'll go out and talk to the table. And you know what? We had 27 tickets when that went down. 57 by the time we started deciding what to do with production. 57 tables at once. which was the entire restaurant, right? That's including the patio and the bar.
Oh my.
57, 54, something like that. We had all these tickets on. We were done doing all of that in about an hour and 10 minutes.
That's cool. Y'all had a good, I mean, you know, you have to work together well with your kitchen staff. I mean, really important.
I've never thought, that was like the first time I ever thought about quitting the business. And that maybe I wasn't cut out for it, but I'll tell you, the staff stepped it up. They busted their butts, and damn, what a night.
Wow.
That's one of those days where you really want to go home and like, gosh, I only have a half a bottle of vodka left. I'm not sure what I should do. Should I go out and have a few drinks first and then come home and finish the bottle? Or should I,
let's go to Bennigan's.
Really, I don't drink vodka. It's basil. It's bourbon, okay, or beer or wine. Or I do drink vodka. I'm not it dehydrates me for some reason. So, all right, enough alcohol talk. Back to how the consulting thing started. I'd been consulting on the side for a long time. Been a chef for about 20 years at that point.
Yeah, I just wanted to continue to follow my dream.
Okay,
which requires money. So
money?
Yeah.
Woohoo, we like money. Send us a check.
I know. It's like, golly, I have to make money. I don't care. One of my visions or dreams also is to help feed hungry children. So part of whatever I bring in through my company would be donated back to a food charity.
Do you have special organizations that you have
I'm researching them, because one of the things that I started noticing in the last few years were a lot of organizations saying that they're giving money and that they're feeding all these people. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, where is it? Where's the proof of it? So I almost wanted to do an expose, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah, we'll do one.
On that whole thing, like on that whole thing of, all right, well, let me see. You said that, 30% of your money from this is going back to feeds something.
But a lot of that's of their net revenue, right? So after they pay salaries, expenses, so on and so forth. I know how that works. It's unfortunate.
It's just the way people are, I guess. What can you do?
So in my case, I love being a chef. I love the action. I like the camaraderie. It's hard. It's a very hard life, but I like it a lot. And at that point, you can affect so many people working in a restaurant, or even with one restaurant group as a corporate chef, so to speak. Yeah. You can affect their dining experience, raise the level of service and quality and performance in the industry. But then I thought, hey, what if I become a consulting chef, right? Then I could really work on openings and expansion projects. Yeah. When somebody wants to go to multiple units, really affect more people instead of affecting 5 or 10 or 20,000 guests a year in one restaurant. You affect that multifold by however many clients you have that year, and that's great. But then I thought, okay, I could talk about on the air with Doc on his previous program at his other network. I could talk about this, and I could really gain some clientele. I could expand my network and work with more clients per year, or fewer clients on a deeper level, and really affect long-term change. And then I actually started to look at. So radio, I used to think radio was it was this interactive thing where you listen, and it's just a platform. It's a platform. It's a medium to disseminate information, whether it's informational, educational, entertaining, whether it's something that you're trying to monetize, whether it's income oriented, and we own this platform. We own Spoony and our sister channel, and we can put out any information we wanted. So I wanted my show to be about food and recipes and interesting personalities and influencers in the space. But secondly, for the non-professional in the industry, I wanted to give a glimpse and open a window to peek inside the industry and understand what we do and why we do it. What it's really
like.
But on top of that, for those that are restaurateurs or people in the service industry, to help them understand the things that they might not, so that they can improve their guest experience. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, we touched on that some on Try This Dish too, is because we wanted to actually do like more behind the scenes. Like, what is it really like in the day of the life of a chef? Or what is it like to be a restaurant owner? All you people that are like out there going, I want to start a restaurant, but they've never even worked in a restaurant. I'm like, are you crazy?
Well, that's it. And I've touched on that before, is the the perception of the restaurant and beverage industry, bars or whatnot, the hospitality industry in general, is that it's this big fun social experiment, right? Where, oh man, I could just sit at the bar and drink with my friends, or I can eat for free anytime, and man, I could have somebody run it, and if I just invest, I'll make a little money, and I'll have some fun. I'll have a great place to hang out, and we can have our Christmas party there. Well, yes and no. If you don't have people you really trust, know, and can delegate these tasks to, that you can be guaranteed that they have your back. Not just that they have your back, but they have enough experience in the industry to actually be effective and run the operation. Well, that's one thing. But if you don't, this particular restaurant I worked at, the owners, they started giving these tasks to family members and friends, and they basically got eaten alive. I know one person bought a boat and wrote it off as an investment by the restaurant. It was a family member, and I mean, they just kind of, the typical life cycle of a business in America is that the first generation builds the business, the second generation takes out all the money, and the third generation closes the doors.
Right.
And so I'm trying to help prevent that. Teach you, give you the knowledge, and give you the tools to operate your business, because look, this is not a game.
No,
this is business. It's business. And when we don't look at this as the business of business in general, and you don't know numbers, and you don't know management, and you don't know systems, right?
Business plan, hello. Or some people just will go and they think $50,000 is enough to start a restaurant. People, come on.
Well, you can't even start a food truck for $50 grand. No.
Yeah, let's get real. So I think that's good that people can. I don't know if you've heard of Score, but they're in San Antonio, because I actually had this idea of starting a bakery when my boys were still pretty young in San Antonio. Then I went to a Score business person and realized, I don't want to make donuts at 5 or 3 in the morning.
So Score, and then also the SBA, right? They have this. They have these professionals.
So definitely go get a plan first. Don't just do like what I'm doing. Yeah, listen to me. I need to take my own advice. But
I say that to myself. I am my own worst client. I'm my own worst client. I'm
a bit spontaneous, So.
Well, but let's walk through where you are right now. Let's do a little case study.
Okay.
So you had this idea. Okay, you want to expand the format to include some sort of educational aspect of it, right?
At least one educational aspect. Like if someone is really into sous vide or whatever, maybe we'll talk about sous vide, because I'd never heard of it. I don't even know how to work that thing. So maybe it depends on, like, if I were to have you on try this dish, which I will. So what is your specialty that you like to prepare? What is your
Japanese food? I mean, sushi.
I don't know anything about Japanese food, so I'd love some tips on that.
Well, good, because I can make it up and you won't know.
No, I wouldn't know anything.
And
I would play dumb blonde really well.
So yeah, whatever. That's a misperception. But with that, okay. So you want an educational aspect. There's a philanthropic aspect, right? A charitable,
right? And when money starts, we start making money, and I'm talking about Foodie Group too. Part of whatever I make in Foodie Group, because
let's talk about Foodie Group. So how are they? Let's differentiate Foodie Group, and what exactly is Foodie Group?
Foodie Group is me, one person.
Okay, doing.
I'm building a network of people that have a food element in their business.
Okay.
So they may have a business that is, I don't know, I'm trying to come up with an example, but, some businesses have different arms, and so they will have a food component. So I would like to help bring everyone together. So let's say you're going to be in Dallas and you want to plan an event, a food event. Well, I'll have a list of people that do food events.
So basically you're aggregating and consolidating.
Yes.
You're a one-stop shop for the resources necessary to obtain your goals, hopefully, in the food service industry, whether it's as the core of your business or a peripheral service within your business model.
So, like, I'm a graphic artist, I'm a photographer, I'm a food stylist, right? So I can bring together all the elements of their businesses and compile it into a list.
Awesome.
So, and then basically they would, I guess the way I would, make money at this point, I haven't figured that out. I'll talk to you later about that.
No, well,
but about subscriptions and being included in the list. And then also, I do want to do graphic design and social media managers and consulting. Just as for me, that would be what I want to do.
So let's do that openly. So let's take people through, because look, even we as experts in whatever we do, I don't have all the answers. I don't. Sometimes I have to ask other experts for their opinion, for their assistance.
Okay.
I have to hire attorneys, just like anybody else does. I am not a distributor, so I have to pay a distributor to bring my food. We all need experts outside of our realm of expertise. Yep. And here's the one thing. Knowing what you know and what you don't know, discerning that is very important, because you'll waste a lot of time in planning and attempting rather than just taking action. And so there's a great coach out there. His name is David Nagel, and I've spent a significant amount of money learning his techniques. He was back when this whole life coach thing started years ago. Bob Proctor was one of the big guys in that.
Coach.
Yes. Well, David Nagel was one of his proteges. Yeah.
I must borrow your pen.
And here's the cool thing. One of the most profound things he ever said to me is massive action trumps planning every time. It doesn't mean you act without a plan, but people plan to death. You plan and you plan and you plan, but you never take action.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of get the action ahead of the planning sometimes, but yeah. So I do need to work on that. I probably need to have a scolding for it, Patrick. I'm sure you can scold me. But, I do have my ideas that I, in my mind, but putting it down out of my mind onto paper and then crystallizing it is where I'm kind of right now. So I'm still having a lot of, ideas that are coming up, and I'm going, oh yeah. And so then I write that down. I say, because I'm trying to develop the whole the overall concept to me is a network of people in the food industry. Doesn't matter what you do. Maybe you just make crackers. I don't know. Maybe you're a personal.
What'd you call me?
Oh yeah, crackers. Sorry. Maybe you're a personal chef, and you're in the Dallas area and you can work weddings. I don't know. So I might have an arm for people that are just personal chefs, or restaurants that want to host events, or people that want to do chef's battles are really big right now. Cook Nation,
Michael Lane, I think was his name. Cook Nation was what he did. He tried to do the same thing. So there was this networking component, and I don't know if it ever got off the ground. I mean, I tried to consult with him. The mapping. So here's the thing: if you're trying to do something massive like that, the logistical infrastructure that's needed is very expensive typically, because we're talking about some sort of developmental software that needs to be developed, right?
Right.
So that's one component. And B, you have no active working model to monetize or to support and help pay for the future endeavors. So it's best to plan what 4 things you want to do, but fully initiate the key component, which is you're going to be able to monetize the fastest. That's what you work on first. And then prioritize in highest to lowest priority in 2 respects. 1, what's the greatest impact? 2, what's the greatest income? Right?
Agreed. Yeah, because I know some of the concepts that I have are going to be down the road, because it's going to take a while to build a network. Duh.
So I gave you the Spoony call line, and he's going to call in at the top of the hour.
Yeah, you want 2 o'clock?
Yeah, because we got 3.5 minutes left in the segment. Cool. So actually,
we said it'll be a little bit after 2 o'clock.
Well, we go back in at 2:04. So 2:05, 2:06. I'll keep watching and see when he comes in live.
That's fine. Yeah, we're going to have Sean on so we can talk with the executive producer of Try This Dish Radio.
And
he's got a radio network called Skynet Radio Network. That's really, I think, a really interesting thing. He'll fill you in on all of that. So,
So again, it's
there. So I got to make money first. Yeah, I got.
You don't have to, but here it sure does make it easier, right? Instead of having to find because finding investors money is expensive right now. Let me tell you that. I don't care what business you're in, what field you're in.
Expensive.
So if you have an angel investor out there, there's no such thing as an angel investor.
I need an angel investor. I already have angels.
Typically, angel investors nowadays are what we call venture capitalists, and look, they're out to make money. So if they're going to fund 100% of a deal, regardless if it's proprietary technology, and it doesn't matter, they're going to want 80 to 90% of the business.
I don't want that.
Thanks for not dropping the other word, thanks, because that's why my first thought was, I hear that all the time. No, but I'm serious. Money is very expensive. Well, I mean,
no, it's crazy.
And they're taking all the risk, right? It may be your idea. It may be your sweat equity.
Yeah.
The thing is, at any time, you can walk away and you haven't lost anything but a little time and some
True.
and whatever you put on paper to, and you've applied to this, they've lost money.
Agreed.
Okay, and there are time is money, money's time, right?
That's
so
right.
depends on which way your clock works and how big your wallet is, how big your bank account is. It's exchangeable. So the thing with that is how do we raise money, or how do we monetize or subsidize our efforts so that we don't have to? How many people work on stuff for years and years and years, never gets off the ground? Right?
I'm raising my hand on that one.
I mean, it happens all the time. And that's the thing is you need to, you have to have a story, a compelling story that will drive people or inspire people to invest in you or your business. So you have to have something to leverage, whether it's celebrity, whether it's authority, or whether it's past experience that has made millions and millions of dollars or have been very successful as a return on investment for other people that you've worked with. That's the trick. And if you don't have that, then how do you build that momentum? How do you gain that respect?
I need help, Patrick.
No, look, so do I. Look,
all of a sudden, I'm going. Maybe I'm in over my head. What else is new?
No, we've been up and live for 7 months, and we're still fresh startup. Oh. We don't take any money out of the company. We're past break even, but it's still a constant battle. It's not a struggle so much as an uphill push to get us over the top of the hill and on that snowball downwards, so where we can actually start to be paid for it. The fruits of our efforts. I mean, we want to make money too, and so I understand where you are.
I love this whole concept, though. I'm all for it because it's the same thing. You have a network that's all food related and foodie topics. And, and health and everything.
Everything from nutritional experts to, and that's the great thing. We don't want every show to sound the same. Right. Not everybody do celebrity chef interviews. Anyway, we're going to go to a quick break. 4 minutes. Come back. We have, who's calling in?
Sean Young.
Sean Young.
Yeah.
Yes, the founder of
Try This Dish Radio.
We'll be right back.
This is the only 24-hour Take Anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The U.S. Justice Department has announced charges against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange.
The indictment, unsealed in Washington this morning, accuses Assange of helping former intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning hack into classified computers back in 2010. Manning used the computers to download classified documents and transfer them to WikiLeaks. Assange allegedly helped Manning crack a password that allowed access to the documents under an assumed identity.
Correspondent Wally Hines reporting Assange was forcibly removed from the Ecuadorian embassy in London earlier today, setting up a court battle over attempts to extradite him to the U.S. President Trump had a joint appearance with South Korean President Moon Jae-in, agrees with Attorney General William Barr's contention that there was spying on the Trump campaign in the 2016 election.
I think what he said was absolutely true. There was absolutely spying into my campaign. I'll go a step further. In my opinion, it was illegal spying, unprecedented spying, and something that should never be allowed to happen in our country again.
During Senate testimony on Wednesday, Barr said he was launching an investigation into the FBI and Justice Department's handling of the Russia probe. Also at townhall.com, a powerful storm system sweeping across the central U.S. Officials say about 28,000 people and businesses are without power in Minnesota and South Dakota, while another 8,500 are in the dark in Iowa. The main culprit is snow and ice accumulating on power lines along with strong winds. An arrest made in connection with suspicious fires at 3 historic black churches in southern Louisiana. 21-year-old Holden Matthews faces 3 counts of simple arson of a religious building on the state charges. He could face federal charges. On Wall Street, stocks are lower. The Dow is down 61 points. The NASDAQ off 23. More of these stories at townhall.com.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RIDUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boost your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. RidUZone.com. RIDUZone.com.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
And we're back. What was that? One more time?
Oh, somebody was talking about flowers. I missed it.
Yeah, me
Douglas.
too.
Douglas. Those are flower
right.
drops. I don't know.
All righty.
I haven't been reading the comments.
So, hey, welcome back. Food Biz Pro Show. Chef Patrick Mosher, guest Derry O'Connor here, the host of Try This Dish Radio.
Hi.
Yeah, podcast in transition.
That's it. That's what we got going on.
Okay.
And I have Mike will report too. My handle is my name that actually Sean came up for me was Destination Dairy. So
full.
Kind of cool.
So again, we're waiting for a call to come in here, but you know, it's a. You just write it down for me. Oh. His name, and so look. We were just talking about how to build a business plan and start a business, right? Money's expensive. I've helped on, I don't know how many projects, about 1,200 projects over the years, 38 direct openings, you know, maybe a little over 300 or 400 projects I've been directly involved in as far as something hands-on, but maybe I wasn't the executive chef director of operations, didn't write the plan, didn't come up with the concept. But somewhere along the ideation to open plus plan, timeline, I was a part of that team. So we all have strengths and weaknesses, right? The biggest thing is to accentuate the strengths and then kind of bolster up the weaknesses. And the easiest way to do that is to hire an expert in that field of expertise.
Right.
Okay. So when you start planning for this, that's where it gets tricky, because how do you know what that's going to cost you?
No clue. I don't know.
Well, so understanding what you really want to do, having a very clear message. Right. I'll give you an example. This is real life case study. We have two concepts here. We have it's fun to play with a microphone, isn't it? It's like, so we have two concepts here. One is a libertarian/conservative radio concept, right? Which is our sister channel. And they're right over there, about 20 feet away. And then we have Spoony, right?
Okay.
So one can be, deemed as controversial or divisive or something.
Yeah.
Didn't matter which side of the fence that's on or which side of the aisle. And Spoony's more like we're inviting to all, right? Everybody likes food, 2 to 200 years old. Everybody's got to eat.
I call it the great equalizer. That's what we've always called food. Yeah, it's
nice.
a great equalizer, man.
I call that alcohol, but
yeah, that too.
It makes a big man weak, and it gives a small man that's what we call liquid courage, right? So
there you go. There you go.
So we have there's a difficulty in marketing, right? There's difficulty in selling because we have two distinct stories, and we can push information one direction from both channels into that single channel, but we can't go the other way. Why? Because people don't want to be associated with it. Oh, our product can't be we can't be affiliated with that. Okay. Yeah. But here's the thing, it's business. And so if you want the reach, we have the sister channel, and if you want the pure food, unadulterated, welcome everybody. We both channels welcome everybody, but the thing is, the listener base is different. Ours is across the spectrum. The other one is it's limited. It's not limited, but it is limiting because people choose to or not to listen, whereas we're not. So even we face that challenge, and it's a big challenge. It's a very big challenge, and so. Having two messages to send out can be confusing, right? Because we say, hey, we would love your advertising. Well, you guys don't have a big listener base. Well, yes, we do. It's not as giant as our sister, but what we do is we push advertising that direction as well. And so we throw that as a bonus, and that extends our reach. But there's still that hesitation sometimes. Everybody's going to cross that bridge at some point, right? And you're going to get to the middle and you say, shoot, what do I do?
And I think with radio too, a lot of people that are interested in advertising and things, they want to know the actual outreach. And it's really difficult even on a podcast to say how many people listen to the whole show, or, I mean, you know what I'm saying. So
Facebook tells, so here's the thing, Facebook views, by the way, Facebook gives you, hey, it is what it is. Right?
I love you, Facebook. I love you.
I have a lot of views on Facebook. It's more than, some of the other platforms. But here's the thing. Facebook, they count 3 and 10-second views, and that counts as a view. And then they tally the total number of minutes watched. And so you can divide that by how many total views you have, and you can tell how many minutes the average person watched or listened, right, on Facebook.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter if you have 50 people or 5 million people listening. What really matters is conversion. So if I only have 500 listeners, but 400 of them buy your $10 product, that's $4,000. Right. Versus I may have 1 million listeners, but less than 1% buy.
Right.
And
it's conversion.
Exactly. It's all about conversion. And so you have either if you have a really engaged audience that trusts you and knows you will only represent products you love and trust and back, then they'll buy, right? Yeah. Typically, they'll buy, especially if you have a compelling reason and you have some sort of an incentive. And if you don't, they don't. And so that it's the engagement, it's the rapport you have with your listening base, your audience, and then how much of that can you convert into sales? And that's all that matters. It doesn't, like I said, do you care if you make $5 million on 100 people, or do you really want to make $5,000 on 1 million people? It doesn't. Yeah. Do you want to make more money, or do you want a larger reach? Because I can tell you, I can give you shows all across the country have great reach and no sales. Matter of fact, I know podcasters have great reach that don't even do commercials or sponsors or anything like that. They do no live reads. Yeah. They have their own products, so they rep that. But that's really what it comes down to. It really does. And so now that you have not just a podcast, and not this great show, which is Try This Dish Radio, which they can find you. Where can they find you, by the way?
On Facebook, we're at Try This Dish Radio.
Okay.
On Instagram, Try This Dish Radio, I believe.
Okay.
And on Twitter, Sean has the Try This Dish Show. I am actually at Derry_O'Connor.
Okay.
And I have a webpage, but it's not running yet.
Yeah, it's
for
okay.
foodienetwork.com, which by the way, don't buy a domain ever again, people.
Why?
They want you to pay to protect it. I have had I'm not even going to tell you how many calls I've been getting a day since I bought that domain.
Did you make it private, though?
No, because it costs more money. And I was like, well, I don't need that. I never did that before. And then, but I'm lonely. So like when they call now, I just talk to them. And I have a really good positive ringtone. So every time the ringtone rings, I just sing the song. And I just take the best of it.
Okay, so do you know the story of our business partner, Doc Thompson?
I don't.
Okay, so Michael Doc Thompson was a radio show host for years and years, 30+ years in the business. Okay. He's launched channels, shows, been a producer.
I think I've heard of him, though.
Yeah, he's been an entire channel director of content.
Okay.
He's done the audio, the sound bites in between, which is the imaging, which he was amazing at. And he was probably one of the most interesting show hosts I've ever heard. So we had an unfortunate accident where he decided to run right next to the train tracks, had noise canceling earbuds in, and was unfortunately run over by an Amtrak train. And as I said, he hated Amtrak and AT&T. So I think it was full of AT&T executives going to Chicago, and they saw him and took the opportunity, right? So, no, very, very.
Bless his heart.
No, it's just a sad. It was really
very
tragic.
Sad.
All right, so
here's to you, Doc.
Yes. So Yeah, Doc was a character that was kind of untamed to some extent. Doc was one of the most smartest guys I know, but could be a little reckless, right?
Yeah.
And which obviously showed. And,
obviously.
So when he we started buying domains, right? And we looked at like Forky, Spoony, Knifey.
Forky, Spoony.
So the story is that we said we bought Spoony, right? And we named it Spoony because Forky was too racy, right? But really, Forky was like 10 grand. I don't know why. And we got Spoony for like between 800 and 1,000, I think, by the time we got everything on there. But after we did that, I bought some other peripheral sites that would pertain to our domain,
right?
And I probably had 600 or 700 calls on those 3 or 4 websites. Hey, would you like? We can build your website. Hey, well, don't forget to optimization, search optimization, SEO. Yeah, because you need it, and it's I had like I'd probably 300 phone calls and at least 500 emails. From they're
me
typically
too.
based in China,
not that many, but
China and or India, or
right.
Because a lot. Look, I don't know if y'all know it, but a lot of programming and a lot of website content, anything web based is done in India. It's outsourced, and they're very good at that. They have a lot of
they're smart. They have some good talent.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of amazing companies over there you can work with, but I didn't need that because these were just things set aside and put in reserve in case we expanded this. But it's like Spoony Peoples.
.net. Well, I mean, you can. I saw
Spoony recipes, Spoony People, Spoony a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's all .com stuff.
Yeah.
And then some other things that we could use later, like stuff we love, right? People we love, the stuff we like to use. It was just stuff. Things that might be useful in the future. Right. We also Wagmires, which it's going to be a pet, really high-end pet. Wagmire. How cool is that?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And what happened was Doc was like, Doc goes, man, this is such a problem. And I said, yeah, it's like we're stuck in a quagmire. And he goes, Quagmire. So Wagmires.
That's how I get my ideas too sometimes. Or sometimes they actually just come into my brain from God, I've decided, I don't know. Yeah. They're like, oh, they just come in. And I'm like, where did that come from? That came out of nowhere. So I write it down, and then I meditate on it.
It's called inspiration.
Well, I'm an innovator. And that doesn't mean some people are innovators. It doesn't mean everything that we come up with is going to be great or work out. But
everything we touch turns to gold.
No, but you got to have people that actually have the creative mind to create stuff. But it doesn't mean everything you create is going to fly. Obviously, people, come on.
Here's a question with that. There's a consistent issue. So I have a business partner, Jeffrey Klein. He and I do the consulting business together, Food Biz Pro. And we've opened, a lot of restaurants together. We the last big project we worked on was Morimoto's restaurant in Bangkok.
Ooh.
Beautiful restaurant. Probably the most beautiful restaurant we ever designed and built. And so one of the things is we tend to, every time, be about 1.5 years ahead of market. Sometimes
cool.
We've been as much as it is.
Is it good or bad?
The problem is because the timing's off, and we don't always know that. Then you don't procure the money. You can't secure the money, which means you can't open the business, or you are underfunded, right? Or you just have to drop the project because you can't gain anyone's interest to support the project. What have you had that as a common? Is there a common thread across? Because you're obviously an innovator or a creative inspirator, right? Inspirational,
right?
Entity, personality. Has there been anything consistent across that? Because I see that with many people, that there's something consistent. They're either too late, too early, too a little far out there for people to even recognize yet. But by the time it comes around, it's 5 or 6 years later, and the market's changed and the demands are not different, but people are now recognizing it. And, but you've put it by the wayside, and people have already acted.
I think you just miss the opportunity because of money, to be honest. Or what I do sometimes is I give my ideas away for nothing, and then later I go, oh, what? Wait a minute, I'd had the chia pet idea. I don't get it. Who did the chia pet? That wasn't me, but I'm like, well, I told those people about chia pet. Now they did it. So
on that note, here's a tip for all consultants. I'll give this to you. This is free. Okay. Well, thanks for that. Actually, I'll charge you one spring roll.
Okay.
Perfect.
You got it. Already paid.
Already paid in advance.
You already ate that.
So that was
All
really
right.
good, by the way. I gotta go. Maybe I'll go buy some dinner there tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, not tomorrow. Next week.
You got pho in there to eat too.
Yeah, dinner.
Yeah,
So
dinner.
here's the thing. As a consultant, this is my recommendation. If you're doing friends and family things, we tend to do things for free when we're trying to get rolling.
Yeah.
We tend to do a lot of things for free.
Yes,
We
true.
tend to undervalue our services. There are two things, and I've talked about these both before. One is that never undervalue your services because even though you may be, is he on the line?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think so.
My bad. My bad.
We're just
Sean,
talking. We're
my
just talking
bad.
too much.
All right. So, all right. Sean Patrick here. Are you on?
Sean.
Yes.
Woohoo. Hey, sorry about that. I know you got a limited amount of time, but I want to finish this thought really quickly because this might apply to nothing. We're living the dream right here in lovely Haltom City, Texas,
That's
overlooking
right.
the Mojo River, better known as the drainage canal right out back.
Lovely.
Yeah. And we can almost see downtown Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, as a consultant, we tend to give things away for free.
Yes.
So there are two things. If you're going to do it for friends and family, those you love and those you care about, and they need your help, then you limit that to, okay, I can do 1 hour of work, 2 hours of work. I will give you a free consultation. I'll give you an outline. You have to go with that after that. Otherwise, you got to pay me. Okay.
I need the money.
No, it's about skin in the game, right? Because if
Yes.
they don't have skin in the game, they don't respect the knowledge base you're sharing, and they will never they'll never
Agreed.
implement. And so when you start to consult, I typically do a 15 to 30 minute phone call. It's free, or if it's an on-site visit, you just pay me my gas. That's it. Maybe my time if it's a long drive or a flight. I pay my ticket if it's a flight. But the other thing is, after that initial visit, I will give you my little overview, and I give you a 1-page outline.
Yep.
Nothing is free. Not a because
After
what
that
happens
is
is
done.
there's no skin in the game. They will not respect. They will not implement the knowledge you've given them because there's nothing to lose. And then if it doesn't work, it's your fault.
I love that.
So never do it for free. And by the way, if you think you should charge $200 an hour, but you're charging $100, then you need to practice this. You get someone that stands in front of you and they
I
say,
know.
hey,
I know.
so yeah, have you heard it before? So you're like,
No, I haven't. Tell me.
yeah,
no.
so you say, okay, my name is Patrick Mosher. I have a 90-day consulting program. I charge $5,000. Okay, well, that's your asking price, right?
Right.
Okay, then they say, okay, well, what do you do? And then you ask for $7,000, then $10,000, then $15,000, then $20,000. When you get to $20,000, you back down to $5,000, and you say that again. Hey, my name is Patrick Mosher. I have a 90-day consulting program. I charge $5,000. It feels like nothing because you've already asked for $20 to that same person.
Right.
So you practice that once a week, twice a week for a couple of months. I'm serious. You will start to overvalue and properly overvalue your services and start to get what you're paid for.
I love that. I love that idea.
All right, Sean, I know you got limited time because I know you're on your way somewhere. Hi, welcome to the Food Biz Pro Show here on Spoony Radio. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for, I've been home listening to y'all for about probably 5 minutes, and I love the knowledge base that you bring to the show. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks. I'm glad you didn't say the bullshit I'm spreading around. I really,
he said the S word.
hey, no
I think
F-bombs.
that's once, damn it. I mean, all right.
no F-bombs, and Santa Claus does exist. Those are the rules. And yeah,
I love Santa Claus.
Speaking of, I'm actually passing Haltom City as
Are you really? Hey, are you going down 121? Are you on the airport freeway?
Come in.
No, that's the way I go. That's the way I used to go. And I'm going to Urban to my day job.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you actually need to stop in and just come into the studio. I'm on live 1 to 3 every day, Monday through Friday.
There you
just
go.
stop in and visit, and we'll chat a bit because I'd love to learn how you got started with the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Skynet Radio is what I want you to talk about, Sean. We've already talked about try this dish radio, but I wanted Patrick to hear what you got going on with Skynet.
Yeah. All right. So here's a verbal disclaimer, right? We'll do a verbal non-compete.
Okay.
We agree this is a verbal non-disclosure non-compete, and anything you disclose, we will not mimic, copy, or take the rights to, other than what you exclusively tell. Blah 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 blah. You know how it goes. But tell us a story.
Amen.
I'm too busy to try and mimic what you're doing, unless you want to come in and help us do it. So.
Well, maybe we can help each other, to be honest with you. I'm a radio guy.
There you go.
So.
It's happening. It's happening.
I'm a radio.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm a radio guy, and the way Skynet started was when we kicked off Skynet, when we kicked off Try This Dish Radio, we were having problems with having an online presence and radio stations. And as you know, in the business, you might get one station that doesn't have online presence, streaming capabilities, or a station drops you, you pick up another station. So I got tired of having to switch back and forth and find a way for us to be on the air live on the internet, because a large part of our listener base is internet driven. And so I came up with an idea to stream. I had been streaming before I got into radio, actually. And the technology now is a lot better than it was when I first started doing it.
Absolutely.
And so I said, you know what? Yeah, and I said, you know what? I can do this for ourselves and just bring it in-house, and then I control all the content. And so when it started to work, I was like, you know, I could do what I do for a living at home, and that's how Skynet started. We are a internet radio network. Right now we have one channel, and it's all health conscious, and I'm beginning to get clients, and that's kind of how that grew.
That's awesome. Well, you know, we should really talk off air. I think come in before the show sometime. You know, if you have time on a weekday, come in. We'll spend an hour or so talking, and have you as a guest on the show. We can talk about that and how you know, Try This Dish started. But I'm serious. I'd love to have a conversation about that, because we're always looking for a way that we can have a little more control over what we're trying to broadcast and how we broadcast it. Look, we're on iHeart. We're on iHeartMedia. We're up on Spreaker for podcast. Most of our shows on the other channel are on iTunes. I'll be up on iTunes soon. But to be honest with you, a lot of our viewership and listenership depends on like Facebook and Facebook Live, our interaction with the guests there, and it's getting difficult. And I'm not knocking Facebook. It is what it is. I don't own it. I didn't invest in it, so I really have no say in it. But as a participant, it's hard to use. It's time consuming, and it's a little clumsy. And they change the algorithm all the time. I don't know who I'm reaching or how I'm reaching them, and who's listening. And it's difficult.
So true.
But we would love to look at perhaps a secondary, or you never know, a future primary platform to broadcast over. I love you, iHeartRadio. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you never know. And several smart brains in the room that are all trying to collaborate. You know, not compete. Even if you are competing, it's this type of collaborative competition. To enhance each other's business, and
that's what I'm all about. That's
to support each other and to gain reach for each other and revenue. Then we're all about it. We are absolutely all about it, especially innovators in this industry.
That's me.
Well, you know, the radio's got to change, and that was one of the things that, especially talk radio, and that's one of the things that I want to be a part of. Because I mean, you're right. Trying to do, you know, you got people like, I like this platform you're doing. I could never do it because I don't have the space for it. But I do like that concept. I definitely want to move over into visual and different things like that as well. So we'll definitely have to sit down.
But here's the cool thing. You can aggregate that and consolidate it and simply be the clearinghouse, so to speak. Right. The portal through which all this is viewed and or listened to, and then you don't need to. Because look, there are a lot of independents out there. I'll tell you, it's tough as an independent podcaster, unless you're Joe Rogan or somebody like that has this big following already. You know, Adam Carolla. That guy's like 9 podcasts. He gets 30 grand an hour for his. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Good for him. He's a badass in this industry, and he's a name and an innovator. But unless you have that, it's difficult to monetize. So the whole idea behind Spoony was for me to be able to aggregate, consolidate all these food-based, nutrition-based, health-based shows that revolved around foods to some extent, culture, travel, but all health and happiness-based, right? Family. You know, so to put those together, so we had a little more leverage in marketing, because not everybody knows me, not everybody knows Derry, but you put the two of us together and have separate shows, plus maybe a little bit of crossover, and you have more marketing power. You have a bigger listenership, a larger variety of listener. I mean,
I like that idea.
And Doc Thompson, so our partner who unfortunately is gone, he wrote this 3-page memorandum about how talk radio needed to change, specifically on he's on the libertarian conservative side of things, and that was his passion. But he really, this manifesto, we call it, was one of the most interesting reads I've ever committed to reading, that word for word, verbatim, without taking any shortcuts and not rushing through it. And I'll tell you, he's right, you know, because look, commercial radio, terrestrial radio's dying. I still listen to it.
It's not dying. Believe me, I work in the industry. It's dead. I mean,
Poor Sean.
It's dead because It's the same thing every day. And I'm sorry to break in on you, but like Doc, it is a passion of mine, and I don't get it. I do not get the terrestrial model of radio anymore. I don't understand it. It blows my mind, and I've been in radio for 13 plus years.
Well, you got a minute left, so talk about that. And if you can stay over through the break, we got a 2-minute break. If you can stay over, we'll keep you going.
Yeah.
We'd love to. So
let's do.
Yeah, touch on 30 seconds. Touch on what's the major point, and then we'll expand on that after the break. What's the hardest thing right now in terrestrial radio?
The terrestrial radio is content. There's no thought process behind content. That's the biggest problem. There's no radio show hosts don't do their show prep, and they talk about the same thing every day.
So here's the thing. Even on the digital side of things, right? Doc said the same thing. You had these same 14 shows every day on these 3 channels that talk about the same thing with the same lingo, in the same format, and there's nothing unique. And we don't limit the content of our show hosts, right? I do say, hey, around Easter, try and do something about Easter. Around Christmas, maybe touch on that. But other than that, I don't really direct them. And as long as you don't break the rules, stay within the boundaries for the most part.
That's what we do.
Push the limits.
Yeah.
Just don't offend, right? There's no reason. Yeah. So, hey.
We believe in Santa Claus, people.
Hey, Sean, we're going to go to a quick break. I appreciate you staying over. Again, Sean Young of Skynet Radio. We have Derry O'Connor here from Try This Dish Radio. Come on back. This is very interesting because this is a bigger conversation than I thought it was going to be. And this could be mine. This could be future altering.
That's right.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter at Food Biz Pro.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
And we're back. Sean, I just unmuted you there. I'm sure you listened through the commercial there. So we're gonna let Derry eat for a second there because I scarfed mine down and she was trying to be ladylike. I don't pretend to be ladylike, so I ate. So I mean, I think there's definitely a chance for further talks, collaboration, some sort of at least to talk and explore, what you're doing, what we're doing, and how we operate. Ron Phillips is the brains behind what we do here. And our technical advisor. And I know you work for, we won't talk about who you work for, but Derry was explaining a little bit. And so, like mindsets, obviously that's interesting for us. But yeah, we'd love for you to stop by. And so obviously the challenge is that there's not enough originality. So I see talk radio as two things. And I'm going to accept a couple of friends of mine. So John J. Vaness of John J. and Rich in Phoenix. and I'm not accepting because he's a friend. They just have a great show. They've had a great show for a long time there, and I don't know, 20 markets across the country. And I think they're a Clear Channel produced show, so I can't go in here. I can't say, hey, John Jay, give me some press. I can't do that. And he might be able to come on here. I don't know. I don't think so. But I still call him out. John Jay, I love you. Dude, just mention me one time. Food Biz Pro Show. Patrick Mosher, you remember? We went to high school, junior high, all that crap. I was just at the 30-year reunion a couple of years ago. Remember me? All right. I don't live there anymore, but, I still go there. So I agree. There's very little innovation in terrestrial radio, and part of that, from my perspective, right, is that there are so few companies out there. There are very few regional/local independent channels. They're owned by iHeart, Clear Channel, whoever happens to be, right. There's these big large conglomerates, and so when it comes to terrestrial, what do you have? You have the same show in 20 different markets. You have a lot of national advertisers, yes, some local, and so, I mean, other than that, what else are you seeing besides the lack of originality in programming? What else do you see? I mean, what are the challenges that you face?
Innovation. Mm-hmm. It's like the top higher ups in radio are stuck in the past, and anytime you want to try to put something on that's different from the rah-rah rally of whoever political party you want to talk about, that's what they're stuck on that. And it's like, I don't get it. You got the same dude saying the same things every day, all day. Who listens to that? I mean, like you said, it's all about innovating, okay? I like food. That's how Try This Dish started, because I got frustrated and with Skynet, I get so frustrated every day because I hear the same thing. And when you try to go to someone and say, hey, can we talk about this? What does the average person talk about? The average person doesn't talk about Trump 24 hours a day. The average person doesn't talk about Obama 24 hours a day. The average person lives life. And that's what, remember back in the yesteryears of radio, you could turn radio on and relax and listen to Lyman Abner act a fool. I mean, what? Can we do something like that again?
Information, like information.
No, that's a good point. So and that's one thing. So here's one of the cool things. Doc, before whatever happened, the tragedy that happened that took Doc away from us.
Yes.
He had a very
sorry that.
Sorry,
he will surely be missed.
We loved him a lot. He's such a great character. He was my best friend, the last few years. And I don't know if I was his best. It doesn't really matter. So he was a huge influence in my life, though. So for a man who's a little bit younger than me, he was like a 12-year-old or 13-year-old in a 50-year-old body. But that man was so dedicated to his craft. So you know what he used to do? The imaging. Like people don't, imaging it's all these sound bites in between shows, and it's what adds the flavor and the character to a channel. He would sit for hours. I've never met anyone so dedicated to his craft. No chef, no anything. He was amazing. He would spend hours at that computer on YouTube and other resources, listening to like 19 shows from Detroit from like 1964, 67. These live broadcasts where they'd have these. And now there's a live report. Man holding his wife hostage in the in the 400 block of. And I'm serious, but he would take that, change the verbiage, but take that tone, send it off to the voice man, the big voice guy, and then use that to flavor. Like he loved big voice radio.
Yeah, I love that.
Like classic radio.
I like that too.
Don't we all?
I do. Let's do that.
So, and that's the thing is nobody paints a picture anymore. They shout their opinion at you. And I get I have a soapbox on occasion too. Some things like
I just hate this.
Frustrations with Facebook. But you know what?
We
ultimately,
love you,
I want to share knowledge with those that want to cook or that want to enjoy food more than they do, or provide a better service in the food service industry than they ever had before. I love it. I want to share. I want to teach. I want to promote. I want to grow. I want to support people, and it's rare. I mean, there are a lot of great podcasts out there. How do we consolidate, aggregate, and dispense as a unified voice as far as our platform?
That's what we're going to do.
But keep each show unique. That's what I love. That's what I love. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's the dream behind Skynet, is to pull some of these people, some of these talented shows, and put them on a platform where everybody shares, a true network where everybody shares in, because one of the things that I have an app. I also have what I ask when I put someone on is, hey, can you put a link here? And I let the people know there's 24-hour programming here. But that way, if someone clicks on that, it shares. People are like, oh, and it also brings the person back to the website that they found it at. And so now everybody is sharing in getting the word out. And that's the true nature of what a network, in my belief, that's what terrestrial radio has got to do. It has got to change, because if it doesn't, it's over. It's just over.
Well, it's like so, and Derry, you can jump in anytime. But if you think about the way that that television has changed, right, or how we view digital or video, 80-90% of, well, I think it's 80% of millennials and Gen Z, right? Gen Y, Gen Z, they get 80% of their information from YouTube or something that is streamed that they can control the time and the length that they view. Okay. So this whole thing where it's you have what is it, 8 minutes of how much time is typically 22 minutes per half hour, so 16 minutes of commercials per hour, right, on terrestrial television and typical cable television. That doesn't fly anymore. Nobody wants to see that. So we'll pay the extra money, $6 a month, to have Roku or to have Hulu or to have Netflix, even though it's, look, I pay the full 19 or 21. I'll take it because I want the videos I can't get on there shipped to my house, like old silly movies, right? And then I want to watch whatever I want streaming. And then I get Amazon Prime for free, right? So I watch those few things, and that's enough. I rarely watch television. Now, it's not that I don't enjoy it.
I don't
but
either.
I'm telling you what, I record it and I start skipping through.
Netflix.
But you can't fast. Did you know?
I know.
On DirecTV, you can't fast forward through the damn commercials anymore.
Oh,
did you know that?
That's some bull.
No,
that's crazy.
I did not know that.
It's not on all the programming, right? But I'll look it up. But if you cannot fast forward through a lot of the recorded shows anymore, and like if you do DirecTV on your phone or on your mobile app or your mobile
they want you to watch it without pausing it or without.
You have to watch. So if you want to watch, I like Vikings, the show Vikings.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to watch Vikings on my phone, I'm in an airport or on an airplane. Even if I download, I have to watch the commercials. It goes to a break, and you can't. It goes to a separate screen. It forces you to watch it for 8 minutes sometimes, and then you can go back to the show. And
they
so,
do something to
because they have to force you to watch and digest that content to make their money from the advertisers, and that's the only way they can get that money is to force you to watch it. Because we're tired of it. Look,
well,
and people are listening.
There's a new concept right now. Influence marketing. So, like for the health shows that I'm setting up on my channel, I also with the channel, I also go out and I tweet. And Facebook.
You tweet. When did you do that? I must have missed it.
Well, I have to admit it's been a while.
I give a hard time.
But the concept is you want, these people are experts in their field. So when I go out there and I send out a message or I say, hey, so and so is going to be coming up on the channel at 5 o'clock, I always use the hashtags. I always use the hashtags for health. And I always put news on everything because now it goes into the news feed. And so people are looking for influence marketers now. The medium broadcasting that we've been doing for the last 30, 40, 50 years, that is dying because, okay, I do mass broadcasting about diabetes, but the problem is how many people have diabetes?
You'd be surprised.
I was going to say that's kind of a poor analysis. But if someone's looking for information about diabetes or eating healthy or the keto diet, it is easier for me to slice that section out for the listener who's looking for that content. And that's what I think eventually especially podcasts and radio, or internet radio is going to do. I mean, you think about it, you look at the market research of podcasting. I remember when I got into this business, when I first heard about podcasts, oh my God, it's cool. I went to management and talked to them about it and said, why would we do that? We can't air commercials. No, nobody, we can't put commercials. I said, what's the difference? You got the stuff on the radio. I said, I listen to the radio and I turn off the commercials myself.
Hey, I got a quick question for you.
It makes no sense.
I know this is a quick tie-in, but do you like brown rice? I mean, wild rice. Do you like wild rice? Okay, because I gotta give a quick plug for one of our sponsors, which is SpoonyWildRice.com, Nostalgia Wild Rice. So at least we include it in the damn content, okay?
Yeah,
and
there you go.
And I'm blatant about it. If it doesn't tie into the content, at least I say I have to plug one of our favorite sponsors. So Nostalgia Rice, they've been around 30 years. They have amazing products. They have everything from beer infused jellies to honey, maple whipped honey, to these wonderful wild rice products, including it's actually a crushed wild rice that actually cooks up like a polenta, and you can take that leftovers and you can make them into waffle mix. It's freaking fun.
I want to try that.
Go to SpoonyWildRice.com. Type in. All right. Again, I didn't check with Tom. Tom, I'm sorry, dude. You're gonna kick my butt later. But type in the promo code SPRING10. I believe it'll give you 10% discount. If not, I'm sure. I haven't gotten an email yet, so Lori and Jay aren't mad at me. I've been saying this 6 days past the expiration date of that. So if it doesn't work, you can email info@spoony.com or chefpatrick@spoony.com. I swear I will send you the correct code.
I'll send you the
phenomenal product. And choke cherry, they have this choke cherry syrup and jelly. Unbelievable. If you didn't grow up in the Northeast or up north anyway, you know what they are. Look them up. But by the time you add the sugar to them and treat that out, it's unbelievable. Anyway, SpoonyWildRice.com, and there's my gratuitous plug for the day.
Nom, nom.
Good stuff. So, all right, back to business. So, I know we're talking about, advertising and so on and so forth and how that's dead. So, one of the things we really believe in here is we only have 6 minutes per hour.
Yeah.
At Spoony Radio and also on our sister channel. So, we basically do 4 flexible breaks during the show, which are live reads. Right? Because live reads are much more effective. You have to be engaged.
Yes.
Typically, you have to mold it around or find a good lead-in from the content.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, you should. I mean, if it should play well. Like I drove that home because I needed to.
Yeah.
And because I don't owe them the commercial. I love their product, and I don't want to run out of time and say, at the very end, don't forget, because people tune out at the end, and so and you would understand it. So live reads are way more powerful than these big blocks of 4 minutes of commercial breaks in 4 times per hour, which is ridiculous, just like television. And there's 44 minutes of televised 42 to 44 minutes of television per hour. Okay, so you have 16 to 18 minutes of commercial, and nobody wants that.
No,
nobody wants that.
You got the mute on the TV now, but I don't even watch TV. I don't have cable.
I don't even have a TV.
I watch YouTube, but I do pay for the red YouTube because, you can play it in the background. So it's like, I watch a lot of YouTube. I do.
Right. So here, real quick, we got about 14 minutes left. So what are you? Okay, let's bullet point the plan.
Bullet point
the plan, and then what is your timeline to try and start to influence the industry? Or to not even necessarily influence, just to be an innovator, and enough of an innovator that you start to draw the reaction you want, and to that which starts influencing. Because look, we live in the 4th or the 5th, soon to be the 4th largest. But we're only a couple months away. Yeah, we're only a couple months away from being the 4th largest media market in the country. Right? Which means I
love that.
In the 5th slot, we're already influencers. At 4, you're a mega influencer, right? So. How long do you think until people catch on and that they see what we're doing here? Because I see these there's the other media company that's they have a big studios across town in Irving, and it's where I started radio, but they don't engage their backyard, which is Dallas Fort Worth. We want to own our backyard, but we also want to influence nationally. So what's your timeline? And bullet point that process. I mean, as much as you can without telling any secrets and nobody really knows, but do you have a target?
Well, it's funny you say that because we're still new and we're still innovating.
Oh, I'm losing your audio just a bit. Are we still on speaker?
Yeah, I'll just say it.
Where are you at, Sean?
Elevator.
There you go.
He's in the elevator.
I might be in the same
take
place.
the stairs.
I might be in the same. let me just say this: I'm in a studio in Irving.
No, I know, but it's not that studio.
Okay, good.
Well, it might be, but we won't say anything.
One like it.
There aren't many over there.
No, it's
y'all are a mess.
I'm beginning to get some traction out of people of what I do because they see the value of what's going on. And as far as the higher ups, I don't think they're going to ever get it. Some do. I've got a show that I run that's called Our American Stories, and interesting enough, it's hosted by Ali Habib, which is a radio veteran, and he has to say, and he is a major player in radio, but he has to say he's had the same complaint. No one higher up wants to take the chance on what is going on. They're afraid of it. I'll give you a perfect example of what I mean by afraid. When I started in radio, I started with the only dance radio station in Dallas-Fort Worth, KKDL 106.7, a Texas party station.
Woo! Where are the tunes, man? I'm looking for the tunes in the background.
Don't make him rap.
I can't dance, so it doesn't matter. So just forget it.
And it's funny because I started out in radio as a van driver. That's what I did. I drove around vans all day. When the station finally got on the air and they got jocks and everything, they brought in Deborah Cox as a show. You know, people come in and see her and everything.
Yeah.
My group brought in Ferry Corson, which was an up-and-coming DJ. We had to close the door because there were so many people at this nightclub. The next day, the management came to me and said, how do we bring in Deborah Cox and we get very little people? You bring in a DJ and they have to close the doors. I said, it's quite simple. You don't understand your listenership. Because your listenership is, grown people who have jobs, who have children. They don't have time to come to a concert on a Tuesday night. I bring in a DJ on a Saturday night. Well, these people have time. They have the money to get babysitters. So I think a lot of the problem is people don't understand their listenership. That's one. And as far as we're beginning to get traction, just like you. You're definitely way up further than we. I mean, we're basically a baby.
Don't overestimate us, but yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
Wow.
And that's like I said, we want to build small. And as you know, as an innovator, you go good for a while, then you have to change this, you have to change that. So, but the platform is there, and I'm hoping to start getting people more involved in it and start to get people to really listen to it as far as the industry in the next, hopefully by the end of this year is my projected goal. And there are a lot of things I want to add on to it as well. But I think the foundation has been set. Now this project, I've been working on this project for, this is the second year. Yeah, and I have put my own money into the business itself.
I know that. I know that feeling. Can I tell you?
Years.
Me too.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And who's your number one fan, Sean?
Well, me now.
Who hasn't killed you yet?
Well, we just met. I'll be your number one fan here soon.
Oh, Sean.
But yeah, that's because I believe in it. And like I said, I work in the industry, and there is a cry for something different. And I also tell you, from the show host or the company that actually has a show, I can offer them the same products, add a few more products at a lower price because my overhead is not there.
And so that's really great.
Yeah.
No, we completely get that because other than the physical cost of building out the studio and buying the equipment, our monthly fees are very little. We don't have data rates or things like that, right? And so our streaming rates are extremely low. iHeartRadio, we put an entire channel up. We're also on Dash Radio. I don't know if you know who they are, but Spoony's on Dash Radio. DJ Ski started this. He was the #1 DJ in the world for a while. he wanted a platform for all his DJ friends to basically have commercial-free music and spin their music and curate their own channels. And we were fortunate enough to get up on there. They were actually the first format we're up on. As far as Spoony goes,
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, check it out. Look, it's dashradio.com.
I downloaded Spreaker.
Good people. And but you're right. They the overhead is extremely low. So I'll give you an example. One of one of our shows on the sister channel used to pay about $2,900 per show, right? Per show, which I think was a 3-hour show on that other network I was speaking about, and they never really saw a return from that. So what they did is they came over here, started their own digital channel, and they just broadcast that show over. Well, they hosted another channel, which is America's News, American. I don't Voice Radio. No,
I don't know.
It's not AVN. It's anyway, doesn't matter. So it's not part of what I do on Spoony. So
okay.
But they broadcast, and they were able to, because of their low overhead and their very targeted reach that way, they weren't reliant on this other big show host's reach and his listeners, because they had a Saturday slot, right? They actually were very profitable here, whereas there they had zero conversion. And so the platform matters, yes.
Yeah.
But what's more important is the promotion of your specific show and targeting that audience. It's very important. And so, look, I found some social media people, literally. There's a person here that's $20 an hour will optimize and do all of your stuff on Instagram, like everything.
Yeah.
And then there's another lady a person in India that I've discovered that will do everything on Facebook and Pinterest for $9 an hour.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, okay, what does that equivalent to? And so I have people that use these specific services, and they're talking an hour and a half on Instagram, literally to do nuts to bolts, A to Z. Hands off. You just say, hey, I want to touch on this week, or hey, could you include something about this? I just saw this today. Hands off, check it out. It's always quality. I was really shocked. And gaining close to 100 followers a day, because they optimize stuff for you.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
I'll share that info later on, right?
Yeah,
I don't give all our secrets away, but except to those us.
So
those in the in club. The purdy people.
So Sean,
I have a face for radio. So
let's just talk a few minutes about Try This Dish Radio and the changes.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. So how is that transition going? So where did it start?
Executive producer that you are now. and
the founder owner. Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Try This Dish Radio. Like I said before, it started out of frustration. Of just hearing the same old thing. And I, for years, have been a closet foodie. And it's funny because the show, it literally started from a YouTube show I was doing. I was just going up there cooking soul food or whatever food at the time. And people here at work started coming to my studio and like, hey, I saw that recipe. I got to have it. And so I thought, how do you translate that to radio? And I just happen to have a friend of mine who owns 4 radio stations, and I kind of ran the concept across him. He's like, yeah, you do 4 shows, we'll put you on the air. And so that's how Try This Dish started.
Nice.
And I think Derry was the 3rd guest that we had on, and I just love her spirit, and I love what she brought, because although I talk about food, I cook, I'm not a chef. But I loved cooking, and she brought a lot of that to the show. And I'll be honest with you, Derry is the show. She's the one who's got us to the World Food Championships. She's the one who's got the major players.
I got Graham Kerr on the show, dude, twice.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did you have the father of soul food here in Dallas, Keith from Buttons on yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
But we can.
Not yet.
He's been in this studio, just saying. Not my show, but in this studio.
Oh, nice.
You said soul food, my mouth started watering.
I know. He's hungry for soul food now.
Oh yeah. And I and that's how Try This Dish has started. And like I said, when I started Skynet, after trying to transition over and do both at the same time, I don't have the time to give Try This Dish what it needs. And so I've asked Derry, I told her, take it. Try to you're literally the show. I'm just the fat guy that sits in the background and laughs. And so that'll allow me to.
He does a lot of technical
stuff. Work on Skynet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the technical. I'm a computer guy. Before I got in the radio and started DJing, I was a I'm a techno geek. That's what I do. I love looking at, trying to make connections with this. Like right now, I've got a show that's wanting to do stuff live. So I've got to figure out how I can change my studio at home in order for these guys to be able to call in and do the show live.
Yeah,
and for the other computer to pick it up and feed it out.
I got the answer, man. I got the answers. Seriously. A couple of things like Shoutcast, some things like that. We can help you out with that.
Well, that's what I'm using now, Shoutcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so well. Here's the deal. Well, we got a studio here that's not used all the time. We can simply.
Interesting.
I'll give you the measurements of that sign back there. It says Spoony.
Try this dish radio right there.
We'll make a deal. We flip that board over like we used to in the other studio, and we might have a deal. But we'll talk. Look, that's all a conversation down the road a little bit. But look, you are welcome here anytime.
Absolutely.
I'm here pretty much 20 to 24 hours a day, literally in the studio Monday through Friday. I'm out as of 3:30 on Fridays, and I'm back in typically by 10 a.m. on Mondays. So sometimes really early, like 5:30 on Mondays. Just depends, but you're welcome anytime. And
I'm going to get him in here with you.
Derry's got my number. She'll give you my number, and we should definitely talk. We got about a minute and a half left.
Yes.
Any last minutes you got? I'll give you 30 seconds. Any wrap up? Any words of wisdom for those wanting to start their own innovative business?
Yeah, that was my words.
Start your own.
That's all you. That's all you. And then we'll give her 30 seconds after, Sean.
All right, that's you, Sean.
The easiest thing I can say is don't stop and watch the profit.
Yeah, know your numbers, right? Know your numbers.
I've learned a lot. Know your numbers. People, process, product.
Yep. Know your
profit.
numbers, and don't skip. Don't skip over the pennies. Derry?
Answer your text messages and phone calls. Oh, Sean, that was for you. I'm sorry. No.
Respond to social media. That was for me. Hey, real quick.
Yeah, respond to social media.
Okay, real quick.
Absolutely.
Sean, 10 seconds. What's your favorite meal? Real quick.
Oh, easy. Spaghetti with meat sauce.
Like a carbonara. I mean, not carbonara, but bolognese. That's
every day.
Derry, favorite meal?
Oh, yeah. I like filet mignon.
Yeah.
Steak and potatoes, baby.
You know mine? Yes.
Yeah.
Mine would be yes.
Anything.
Whatever I'm eating
cooked
now.
or
Actually,
raw.
my favorite meal is whatever I'm cooking for someone that I care about right then. All right, hey, we got to wrap it up, folks. Patrick Mosher, Food Biz Pro. Hey, Sean Young, thank you very much. Skynet Radio. Derry O'Connor, thank you from Try This Dish Radio.
Thank you.
We will be back on the air tomorrow, same time, same place. Spoony Radio. Be nice to yourself. Remember, you're RG.
This is the only 24-hour Take Anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com.